Oh, this Jones go.
Yo, we are
That Jones
back
go.
yet again with another episode. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That includes Twitter and Instagram at WRGO Pod. That also includes YouTube, where we have an amazing new video by our very own Mackenzie Marshall. Be sure to subscribe on that. Be sure to also subscribe, like, comment, share on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. It does help us reach a new audience of viewers, and I am joined by our regular team, Mackenzie and Henry. How are you guys?
I am good. How are you all?
I'm well, you know.
I'm well. Good, great to hear it. All right, so we're gonna go and bring us some food for thought as usual. Since we are three Howard alums, we have to put this in. As an avid sports fan myself, I have to put this in. So Howard landed last week a top basketball recruit, the 16th ranked in the country, Makur, I think is how you're pronouncing it. Take a wild stab at that.
You're the sports person here, bud, not me.
I think it's Makur, but I think that's me getting too deep into it. But so he was the 16th ranked high school basketball recruit in the country. He committed to play basketball at Howard. We know that a lot of top prospects have been looking at HBCUs, but do you think that this will kind of draw top high school athletes towards HBCUs? Because I think even if you're not a big sports fan, as an HBCU alum, it's kind of like it's a cool thing, right? That's what I think.
I mean, I seen like once he even before he committed or whatever, I seen like other I guess top athletes or big recruits or whatever they call. I'm not a sports person, but I see like when I seen it going on, like the whole conversation, like I think it started when Jamel Hill, maybe she put out an article about it, right?
Yeah, in the Atlantic, yeah.
Right. So she put something out. So when she first put something out, I kind of like not a deep dive, but I was just like, you know what I'm saying, going through stuff. And I seen other athletes talking about it. And if I'm not mistaken, is this the same dude that came to visit Howard or this somebody else?
It's somebody else, but he also came to visit Howard. It just wasn't as
That's what I'm saying. So it was like, I feel like, especially for me paying attention to it, since that Jamel Hill article, I think it's been a big conversation in like black sports, as we call it or whatever. But like I will say, it's a viral video going around Twitter right now. I don't know what the dude named, but he sound to me like you playing to the white man game for real, because he was like, I don't care, my son ain't going to Howard, he not gonna get the TV recognition and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that ain't your son, because it's bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? Like if your son really that good, they gonna bring the attention to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel, but I could be all wrong.
I think it was I think the conversation was there even before Jamel Hill's article. Like, I think, it's always been a talk of like, why are, even in high school, when people like bus these kids, these inner cities kids to these like private schools to play for sports or whatever. So I think the conversation was already there before the article, but I do hope that, I hope that people are going to look at HBCUs and athletes do consider HBCUs. I'm not a sports person, so I don't really know what the risks really are for their careers. But I do hope that they actually commit, because I do think that he brought attention to HBCUs, but I don't know I think there's going to still be more conversation around like that video that Henry talked about playing into the white man's thing. So will it really get more black athletes, top black athletes to go to HBCUs? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I hope so though, because it really is about the bigger picture. Like it really is important for for us to, support our schools. So I do hope, but I am a little I'm still a little skeptical about if they'll actually commit.
Nah, same, man. Because the way I was thinking about it, I first thought about it as like a sports kind of thing, but then like kind of you all were saying like it's bigger than that. Like I also thought it's not just like, hey, we want top athletes to go to Howard, but we also want top just academic students in general. Like I know like I went to a private school, like they weren't actively steering me to go towards HBCU. So there is like a larger conversation of like top athletes need to be pushed there, and just if you have a really good SAT score, you should be pushed to go. You're not above an HBCU if you get a really high test score, if you have a really high GPA. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I
like
agree.
another conversation.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that's the
think it goes into like the high school counselors and the people around them, like introducing them to the college like atmosphere. Because I know my college counselor did not recommend any HBCU for me to attend.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I think that's a part of the conversation, but I think the bigger conversation is Black people acclimating their success on like a white catalyst, whatever. Because you know how people be like, Howard is the HBC, Harvard, or whatever they be saying, the Black Ivy League. So like it's stuff like that to where even within that, like Howard produces, Morehouse produces, Spelman produces, and that's why like people be like, it's more HBCUs or whatever, but like those three schools alone have produced more than 90% of Black professionals across the board. So I guess for me, when I think about it like that, HBCUs have always been essential. And I could have a different perspective because I'm from the South, where like, the big classics and all that stuff is a big part of the culture there. So you're kind of familiar with HBCUs. And like once you get hip to like Black elitism, you get hip to like what the good schools are and what the plugs are and the Jack and Jill and all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think within itself, this is a bigger conversation. That's what I'm saying. It's bigger than what bro trying to make it seem like, oh, I ain't sending my son here because of this. Because like essentially all of those schools, all of those jobs, they come at least recruit and talk to us because they at least looking to fill that diversity position. And if they gonna fill it, they want to fill it with the best people, right? So it's stuff like that you have to also consider. So whatever.
No, that's real. So the next topic that we have on food for thought is, of course, COVID-19, which can we like rename it to like just COVID? Because it seemed like this is gonna go ongoing.
Like, yeah, what was it like COVID-19? I never understood that. Was it COVID-19 because like
it started in 2019?
19 or what?
It's gonna go through 2020 and 2021, so we just need to call that junk COVID. So this week, right? So this week, the total of number of infected persons reached over 3 million in the U.S. with over 128,000 dead. Recently, the Trump administration has increased pressure on states to reopen schools, despite recommendations from their own health experts arguing against that. They view schools as essential to the nation's recovery. VP Mike Pence said, "We don't want the guidance from the CDC to be the reason why schools don't open." I think my thing is like, what do you all think about the possibility of the Trump administration? Because I think now they kind of had the testing thing, and they were like, well, now we're gonna limit testing, or testing's not that important. And now
they're trying to act like it don't exist so they can just keep moving on. Like that's my thing. Like, where's the logic in saying we're not gonna follow the CDC guidelines? So if you're not gonna follow the CDC guidelines, what about these grocery stores and the dang on pharmacies and all that? They just gonna be putting out medicine? Like, what? Like, to me, that is the most lackluster, ignorant, narcissistic, whatever other words I could come up with off the forefront of my brain. Like, how are you, the president and vice president, basically saying, oh, it don't exist, whatever. We're just gonna go on with business. Like, what?
I don't really have anything. I mean, McKenzie, like, what? I just think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like it's just I mean, we all know the answer to this question. Like, I think this conversation, of course, the response is the response. Like, the response has been the same since it started, before this has started. So I'm not even shocked about that. I do think that, it does come to a point where, as parents and like sending your kids to school, like you might take matters into your own hand and might have to just not.
Let's talk about that though, because let's talk about those kids and like the next question we're about to pose. And I don't necessarily.
It's not even just the kids; it's the teachers. Like
everybody involved.
Kids are dirty. Like kids are dirty. So like I think it's just gonna have to be maybe a school. Like I mean, I don't think public schools can do that. I went to private school, so private schools have a little bit more to like say no. But no, I don't. I think this is more of you're gonna have to take matters into your own hands and do what's best for you and your family. Because
that's what I'm saying. So like the next question that's posed for the next topic, like this is gonna affect those lower income, like socioeconomic situations. Because like you said, public schools, they're like they doing it to colleges too, where they're saying, "Oh, we're not going to provide funding if you don't open the school." So it's like, what? And if you're in a low income community, which is mostly predominantly Black and brown, you're largely gonna be affected by this. And then on top of that, what if you ain't even got Wi-Fi to do the remote option? Or what if your parent gotta work and somebody ain't there to watch you? Like, this is so, it's a lot. COVID has put it on a lot of people, and it's hard because, like, again, that next question that's about to be raised, who is greatly being affected by all of this? And like, that's the thing about, and then back to like the next point that we're about to make here, like, it seemed like their whole purpose was just to revert, like overturn every progressive thing that ever happened.
I think it's gonna, I mean, even with their guidelines, like even in New York, the biggest school district, like they're saying it's gonna be half and half. I mean, I think it's just they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. It's gonna happen, and then they're gonna have to shut back down again.
And I think
it's gonna be another outbreak in the schools.
Yeah, and I think that's the weird thing is that, like, for Trump to kind of, or for the administration to take the point of like, hey, we want to like wage the war against coronavirus by sending like your kids. Like, politically, that's just dumb, by basically saying like, we're not going to do anything about this, and now we want your kids to go back. I don't get that, but also like picking the fight, like where you said, McKenzie, where in New York, he doesn't control what individual states and districts do. Like de Blasio was kind of like, I probably don't think we're going to do, it's not going to be normal. It might be half in, half out. Like, but it's not like, why wait? I don't know why wage that war, but I think like Henry said, trying to make sense of all this is hard when it doesn't make sense to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's a mess and it's not getting any better. But as Henry said, to go on with the next topic, the Supreme Court and their recent birth control ruling. But yesterday, on Wednesday, the court ruled to allow employers and colleges, they could opt out of providing free birth control coverage. This reverses the Obama-era policy from the Affordable Care Act that expanded access to contraception and forces many students who have health insurance now to pay out of pocket for their birth control. This was also they also include something that includes exemptions for religious institutions or employers. Now they can block it. So I think the main kind of thing is, how do we fight against the courts, which continue to rule on the policies that impact the Black community? McKenzie tackled that question, but also kind of like this ruling in particular, because it does have to do with women's access to contraception, which is a big thing that I don't think we talk about abortion a lot, but we don't talk about just people's natural access to contraception.
I just don't understand the Supreme Court's like obsession with policing women and their bodies is so annoying. Like, I think it's really just going back to, honestly, I don't even know who was, I guess, I didn't read into it, so I don't know who was like the final vote or how it came down to, but I really think that this goes into like, I know this as a Supreme Court judge, there is like a lifetime position, but I do just feel like there has to be, actually, I was going to say that there should be an age limit to it, because I really feel like this is just old mentality. But like, I mean, there's young conservatives as well. I mean, how do we fight against the court's ruling? I mean, it's a go to your Planned Parenthood, your local activism group. I don't really know how to fight this, because it's like, even once you fight it, as you saw with the Obama administration, you fight it, and then the next administration could come in and reverse it, and then you're back at square one again. So I really don't even know how to tackle this, because I feel like this is truly like racism in America. This is always going to be a thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same point as you, because when I was typing the question, I didn't have like an answer, and I think you hit something that I think we need, or that needs to be talked about in the future, of like, if the court continues to do stuff that just breaks its neck to kind of hurt Black people, hurt Latinos, hurt women, hurt, people of kind of any other faith besides Christians, I think we do need to talk about, like, should we have term limits for court justices? Should we have age limits? Like, we need to start thinking about stuff like that. Like, if we're really talking about trying to change how the Supreme Court operates, that probably starts with changing kind of who's there and how long they get to be there. Because you can be there for, like, the people who Trump just appointed. They're in their 40s. They're going to be impacting decisions for 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel the same way about like the presidency as well. Like there definitely should be an age limit, and like I just how old is I don't even Trump is
It's like
77.
75, 76.
Yeah, seven. I think
Old.
yeah, he's like all of these people. These are literally like our grandparents, and I
No,
just like
that was
that's so crazy to me
we
that
talked about this before though, where we
we
were
did.
saying like these certain positions, especially federal judges. Y'all know Trump then put almost 200 judges lifetime appointments.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that enough. Yeah,
Look, they block. But this about the whole thing we're talking about right here. How these people need term limits because, as McKenzie said, like I do think even like younger conservatives, they're not as conservative if that makes sense. Because you gotta consider you're just blatantly damn ignorant. I'm gonna just say you're stupid ass. If you believe you can police women's body, tell them how they should get birth control, if they should have abortions.
But see, younger people, not even just younger people, they'll say like, I'm not trying to police women's body. I just don't think we should be paying for, or my taxes should be paying for that.
That essentially, I think that will go back to their conservative values though, because it's like they're all about money and this and that, and then you put the Christianity and all that bull crap in there, right? So like, I think that more so ties to like these older conservative, like Clarence Thomas, for instance. I somehow came across like a ruling of his, and I kind of read into it, and like I looked him up a little bit. This man, like, he don't speak out a lot, and that's because he hates the fact that he's from South Carolina. Like, he literally hates the fact that he's black and from South Carolina. You know, to me, if you have, huh?
Do you know?
I'll look it up right now. I don't know that off the top of my head. Keep talking, Henry.
But like if I'm thinking about that in like real time, if you hate your ethnicity, you grew up in the South, so your whole mindset was like it was deconstructed or conditioned or whatever to think a certain way, and now you're at the highest court in the land, so your morals, your values, your ethics, your politics, whatever, they're going to align with that same convoluted, effed up mindset to where you hating your people, so you're gonna automatically put certain stuff in place that affect them people because you don't want them to see them win anyway. So it's like that's just Clarence Thomas. This Brett Kavanaugh, he clearly blatantly can lie to your face and not give up and keep it moving. It's stuff like that. If you have that type of moral conscience, and he kind of young, he like 40, 50
Actually,
something.
I'm not even surprised by him because how he even got to the seat with that whole.
That's my thing.
He
came in with two middle fingers up. So
he got away with that.
If we're constantly electing people like that to the highest court of the land, they're setting law for everybody. They got you know what I'm saying? They're sticking it to the man. Then how do we even go about changing that process? We hear Biden saying he want to elect a black woman to the Supreme Court, but we seen what they did with Obama.
But I was gonna say that because I think that that's like a key thing that I don't think we talk about enough is that over like the past couple of episodes, I've noticed, like I went back on our last docs, like we've talked about the Supreme Court more, and I think that that's actually one thing that
they're in a session right now.
Yeah, but I think like in general, like as people who lean Democrat, Democrats don't talk enough about the importance of the Supreme Court, while Republicans focus like supreme.
Eric Holder. Go look up what Eric Holder is doing because this was like when Trump first got in office. When I was reading about this, Eric Holder, he says this blatantly. He tries to get more people around it and lobby it and all that. Do I know the like ins and outs of it? No, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But I think you gave me that book, A Black Man in the White House.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So even in that book, they talk about how Republicans have focused on the judiciary system.
And it's paid off. It's paid off.
Since Obama was in there.
And I think
so. It's like,
yeah, Democrats need to put that same focus and energy into it because it does have actual, like, if we actually care about like immigrants getting rights.
That's what's important.
But I mean, if we're really serious about it, like if we really care about stuff like this, we just need to say like, hey, Biden, or hey, anybody, like y'all, whenever there's a Supreme Court justice up, like everybody needs to lock in on that. Like we we can't have another situation where Brett Kavanaugh somehow sneaks in and he basically rapes somebody. Like, that can't happen. Like, we have to make sure.
But I think the question now becomes, even with Democrats, what are their morals and their values? Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Anita Baker plays a part in Biden's history, which plays a part in Clarence Thomas' history.
Did you say Anita Baker?
Not Anita Baker. Yep, bro. I'm a little.
Catch it.
Oh.
Catch it. Don't you dare drag Anita Baker into this.
I'm gonna make sure we have Anita queued up for the exit music.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Anita Hill.
Anita Hill. Y'all trying to play me.
Yeah.
Anita Baker, and I'm like,
oh my God. I was talking to
Anita Baker, I'm so sorry, sis. I am sorry.
I am so sorry. Point is, y'all see
I'm gonna play her when we exit the episode. I'm gonna have her queued up.
Look, but yeah, so Biden's history has a big in it because of the Anita Hill situation, which is tied to Clarence Thomas. So it's like, even when we talk about, hey, Democrats, you need to pay attention to it. If the Democrats are somehow still allowing these people to slide on in, or whatever term you just
that's
said.
still a problem too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we might as well continue on since we're talking about Biden. So all things 2020, I actually forgot because of all this coronavirus stuff going on that there actually is an election coming up. Like, I in my mind. So Biden is leading early in national polls. What do you all feel like he can do to solidify his win? Because I'm gonna vote for him, but I'm still not enthused, and it seems like no one else.
He too cocky, bro. He too cocky for me. He just chilling. He not doing nothing. He not engaging the youth. He engaging black people the wrong dang on way. It's like, what is he doing? He really he making me not want to vote for him.
The funny thing is,
I'm doing is saying Trump is a bad leader.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I haven't even really seen him.
Well, no, okay. I'll say this one thing. That thing I put in the group me today, he put out like that 7 million. Hold on.
Yeah, he's like a $7 billion plan for like the economy. Like, he's doing stuff, but like it's just not geared toward us. It's not geared toward us.
It's like, it's basic. He not speaking to his core supporters. It's like, bruh. Okay, go on and pick the black woman you're going to pick, die off, and let her do her thing.
Yeah, this is just kind of like, this race isn't fun to watch.
I don't think it's supposed to be fun.
I feel like nobody's grinding for real. Like, I feel like.
But Trump, you don't see what Trump doing.
I mean, but that's
Trump giving everybody this SPA money. He might trying to get another stimulus check out. He got them taking rights back. He said, I'm trying to get everybody from somewhere.
But McKenzie, I think
he done paid Kanye off too.
I think a part of it, at least, like, is the coronavirus stuff. I think, like, if you look at how he's campaigning, like, he can't go anywhere. Like, he can't do rallies or he can't do that. So I think, like,
social media plays an intricate part in Obama.
I agree. I mean, so I think for you all, that seems like the way to, because I mean, in a realistic sense, is there anything he could do that y'all would be like, okay, like, I'm on board or not really?
No, but the effort helps.
Just doing more grassroots stuff. Like, I feel like, why aren't you on Instagram Live every day, Facebook Live, like, just in our face? Like, I should be sick and tired of hearing about you. I should know your top pillars and what you're here about. Like, I should be able to rattle that stuff off the top of my head. This is why you're the best candidate, because you're doing this, at least 3 points. I don't know.
I agree.
Go ahead.
No, I just think as someone who like knows people in campaigns and kind of how like coronavirus is messing everything up because it's harder to
tell us how it's gonna work. Because if I was the communications anybody on that goddamn
I don't really care about coronavirus because all these other businesses somehow
I agree.
COVID happened. They out here selling drinks on the street. They thinking on their feet. What else can we do to stay in people's faces? So figure it out.
Marketing and communication is very intricate in this right now. If you need at last King Henry, hit me up because I got you, bud. But for real, he not doing nothing.
No,
he's really not doing nothing. Corona can't stop. If he can get on Twitter,
it's been 4 months. It's been 4 months. So.
And if he can get on Twitter and tweet, y'all better still vote, or you ain't black if you ain't vote for me, or if you can do that, dumb, you can get your Simone, Big Tooth, and all the rest of them.
Come
up with something.
Gotta do that.
I'll say this.
No, because she be getting on my nerves too. She was loud on Twitter when she was on CNN, but now she working for him. I'll never see her. Barely tweeting. Like, I don't like that.
But I think you're getting wrapped up in it. I think that there's a difference between. I think that what Biden is doing is what most Democratic presidential candidates do.
And that's the problem.
And I agree. I would agree. Trust me, I am agreeing with you on that. I think that most of Biden's outreach that he's doing is not gonna attract us because he's doing stuff. I think he is like
I've been seeing it, but he's
releasing plans. It's just not something that's geared toward us because he has Black people as a whole under that's his base, but he does need to get Black people who are our age. But I think McKenzie, and your point, Henry, I do think that he does need to do stuff like go on. I mean, the funny thing is he's done shows, like he's done like Desus and Mero. He's done a bunch of different stuff. It's just not that entertaining. I think that's the thing. Like when they first started doing it, he did all of the shows that he probably should do and all the radio hits. He talked to the right people. It's just not, he's Joe Biden. He's a 77-year-old white guy. There's only so good it can be. Makes sense.
That's also a problem because it's like make news. Get on whoever's doing these lives now. The late show's doing lives. Get on there. Hey,
everybody, exactly. He can. No,
he need to pull up on D. He need to pull up on D. Nice. Just throw something at the wall.
Yeah. Literally, that would have been so great to see him. When everybody was doing the quarantine radio, the verses and stuff, and he hopped in there, hey, Jill Scott, make news.
Well, no, he was in a few of them.
Who?
He definitely went to the.
He was commenting, but like he needs to be like D Nice needs to like. He needs to be.
Right.
He needs to have his Bill Clinton moment with the saxophone. He needs to have his Bill Clinton moment with the saxophone.
He's not that cool.
First of all, let's stop even giving him ideas. You got a team, figure it out next.
Right.
His team doesn't have people who look like us, but you didn't hear that from me.
But Simone's check is bigger than mine.
Exactly. So she got a Black team. No, stop trying to excuse this man.
I'm not.
Next story.
You made up like 3 excuses within the last 3 minutes.
As someone who ran campaigns, I know.
Exactly. Boy, shut up. He can do more. Next.
He always can do more. I'm in agreement with you.
But as a registered voter, he needs to do something else.
That part.
I'm just letting y'all
If he can tell me I can risk my life for him, he better be doing something to risk my goddamn life for him.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, all right then. Stop excusing him. Next case.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about this, but Henry and I actually had an interesting
Anyway, we need to talk about Kanye because y'all damn fools out here talking about Kanye. This nigga got a Forbes magazine thing. ABC done tweeted about him. CNN done tweeted about him. He was on NPR. He was on BBC. It's a conversation. People are literally talking about it. Now, the thing that's like, he just probably doing it to get music.
Henry, give some setup. Give some context.
I mean, I'm doing that now.
No, you're not. Give some setup.
I got this, bro. Pause. So
no,
anyway,
you don't, but okay.
He basically tweeted on, my nigga, if you on the internet, you know what's going on. Kanye West tweeted something about American freedom and blah, blah, blah on July 4th, allegedly announcing his presidency. Kim quote tweeted it with the American flag and it went viral. It's on everybody news station, podcast, all that bullcrap. It's being talked about. People are having all this activist whatever on Twitter. I think the conversation is not more so like the fact of, okay, it's Kanye. It's the fact that, one, people are considerably questioning who they should vote for. And that's like the bigger conversation. And you think you can, like, I don't like your attitude toward this because you're like, well, they're not going to vote anyway. Well, that's the problem with Biden, my nigga.
I'll tell you, here is my main opinion on this. And McKenzie, you never said anything when Henry and I were having this debate, so I want to hear what you think. I think that the people who, and I'll say this again, I think this is my main point. The people who are often the least informed on Twitter make the most noise, so it seems like something is more prevalent than it actually is. I think.
Okay,
let me finish.
I just listed multiple news sources
Let me
finish. News sources are going to cover it because it's just noise. It's Kanye, and they always throw him that bone and that benefit of the doubt just to cover him. Like when McKenzie put that thing in the chat, the Forbes interview should not have been published. It wasn't news. He was just ranting for 4 hours. That's not anything noteworthy. He's basically talking himself into circles, and they just say, forget it, it's Kanye West. He's a name. It's going to get clicks. Let's run with it. And I think that's the thing. When people take it and they just talk about
that's
it.
how Trump gets to go and be like, fake news. Because again, let's assess the generation we live in, where what news has become. That's part one. Two, the fact that you're saying it shouldn't have happened, but it did. It actually did. And being that it happened, this is pushing some type of agenda, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. People are realistically considering this thought. And just like 2016, they did that write-in thing, this could very well be that same situation.
I don't think it's the same, but
why not?
Opinion.
I don't.
Because I think one, the person who is actually probably going to vote for Kanye is probably more likely to be a Republican than a Democrat. I think most people don't want to hear that, but his views.
Completely disagree.
I mean, you can.
His views are very conservative.
His views are extremely conservative.
Okay, so again, you're thinking about people who are critically thinking about this.
No one who votes for Kanye is critically thinking. I think that's what
you're that's what I'm saying. So like if the Kanye, he was when Obama was president, he would support him. And then Trump became president, he would support him. Brian never vote for neither one of them. Most people don't know that. But the fact that this man is a world-renowned rapper, has a clothing brand, like he's a major influence in American culture. Not just American culture. And you cannot excuse the fact that his name is now allegedly being considered for this thing, and people won't actually consider the idea. I don't like that thought, and I think that's naive.
Because I don't think it's naive. I just think it's going to die out. It's going to die. Yeah, Kanye's making noise. He always does this. When he wants attention, he says something crazy. We give it to him, just like we're doing right now. Exactly. And Kanye's going to come out with another Jesus is King 2 in 2 weeks.
Next.
I just think because people are talking about it, just because you're loud about something, doesn't mean that it's actually like.
People are taking you seriously.
Yeah.
Like, especially how social media works. This is a big conversation. Something crazy will happen tomorrow, and we on to the next thing. Like it's.
I see that, but the thing is,
that means he would have to ride this way from July 9th all the way to November. He would have to.
That's not a Kanye move, right? But he was on Trump coattail for a few months, right? And my thing is, when I read that Forbes article, I found no like legitimate reason besides he ran in a bunker, as to why he stopped supporting Donald Trump. So even within that, him being like, we see how Trump has manipulated these elections or situations in which he's come to his advantage. He could very well and easily prolong this conversation.
But I don't. So what's your point then? Are you saying that then he's manipulating Kanye to make all this noise?
I mean, I ain't say that. You coming up with conspiracy theories.
But that's
said
using your line of thinking. That's where it goes. Because how is Trump
it works his advantage, and I think he will do whatever to keep it up for the longest while.
So you think? So you basically think. So then using this logic,
to disengage people on that lower level, which that's heavily Biden's, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
So you think Trump and Kanye are in cahoots on this? That's basically what you're telling me. That's basically what you're telling me.
Could be.
Say about your conviction, bro. That's basically what you're telling me.
Could be. I mean, I've said it at the beginning of the podcast, but if you didn't hear me, that's your problem.
Oh, you got an attitude now?
I ain't got an attitude. I'm just saying. I just
next subject because we really shouldn't even give Kanye this much time, to be honest.
I was more so talking about the democracy of America for real and how people just like don't take it seriously. That's more so my point here.
I agree.
Kanye, you know, that's more so what I was trying to talk about, not him specifically. Let me clarify.
I'm glad you clarified. Okay, going on to Heads Up. So we have a bunch of different things that are largely in the entertainment space. The first up is Matthew A. Cherry is back again. So HBO Max ordered a 12-episode season of Young Love, the animated series based on the characters from Matthew A. Cherry's Oscar-winning animated short Hair Love. I never watched Hair Love. I should get on that.
So excited for this. This was so cute. Like, I am literally so happy for him. Like, this, if you have not seen like the short little movie or I don't know, clip or whatever, it was just really cute. It was just about a black girl, a little black girl, and her dad, and I think her mother was sick.
Mhm.
And just like she watched or he watched YouTube on how to do her hair, and it was just like a cute little black girl. It just reminded me of the relationship I have with my dad, and like it just took me back to a place like when I was little and like father-daughter love and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about this. I'm not really sure where this is gonna go. Like if it is gonna be like a father-daughter type
It
of.
seems like it. According to him, he's taking the characters from the animated thing and just making it like a
Oh,
show.
I
And
love
mom came in the
that.
end too,
I
though.
think that would
In
be
it, or
super
she
great.
had cancer, right?
Wait a minute. I think it'll
Is
be
she?
super great
I can't hear her.
to see just like a father-daughter relationship, a black father and black daughter relationship. I feel like we haven't seen that much. At least,
Especially in an animated short. I'll
yeah,
agree with that.
animated
Especially in
short
an animated setting.
really great to see. But what were y'all talking about, Issa Rae?
No, your thing was going in and out. I couldn't hear you. That's what I was saying. But I was saying, in the clip, didn't the mom like have cancer in the end?
Yeah, she had cancer or something. She was sick.
Okay.
I just remember that.
Okay. I mean, my only thing is, it just sucks that it's on HBO and not like a main,
Yeah.
What's
prime
the
time
name?
network.
So he's saying like you have to buy into the platform. It's not
Yeah.
like going to be like on cable. It's not like going to be on like TBS. It's going to be you have to pay for it. But
Or
Matthew,
even Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. It's on like a premium channel.
yeah, I
And
think the only good thing about it probably being on HBO is that they do come out with good content. So it'll probably
and that, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about HBO. They do have like
they
pretty
don't
good
miss
content.
that often.
Yeah,
So
they really
and he getting them premium checks. So shout out to bruh.
Shout out to you.
Um, So next up, Henry hit me to this. So Zendaya and John David Washington, the son of Denzel Washington,
What did you
the
call
two
my
act.
wife? Her name is Zendaya, bro.
Excuse me. Good.
I
That's why
thought I was the name butcherer here.
that's hey Zendaya. You know
I don't
black
know
folk.
much about this. I just seen the
I
picture.
saw it. Yeah, once Henry put it in. So the two actors teamed up with the Euphoria creator for a movie that's going to be called Malcolm and Marie, a full-length feature that was shot between June and July in California. The plot has not been revealed, but it's rumored to be similar to Netflix's A Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson, which I have not seen. I found it funny that when I searched this up, everybody was talking about how Zendaya, is it Zendaya, right?
Zendaya, boy. She finally got
Zendaya.
a black love interest, and it ain't no little
And
light
that like
skin
just
boy.
that had me
He
dying.
dark skin. He got Afrocentric
So wait,
features and
why are
all of
people
that.
saying it's like Marriage Story? Because I didn't like Marriage Story.
Apparently,
Well,
that's what
wait,
they're
what was
saying.
the
Like
plot
the
of
closest thing
Marriage
it would be
Story?
like, because no one knows the plot, but when rumors were like, "What's the closest thing to it?" and they kind of compared it to that.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say I didn't like Marriage Story. I just thought it was basic.
What's the plot of it?
Like
Yeah,
it
'cause
was
I
just
don't know.
a couple that was married and then they got a divorce, and it was just kind of like just the trials and tribulations to a
But I
divorce.
don't think that would be like that, because when I was reading into this movie, they had to go through a lot to produce it and stuff. But anyway, they rented out somebody big mansion and they filmed only on that property. So it has to be like a good, like, have y'all seen Beyond the Lights? Like, that's one of my like favorite love stories. How it was
Are
like,
you serious? Really?
yeah, bro. Like
Wait,
That was
he
a good
saved
movie. I
her
would have
from
never heard
wait,
anyone
dying.
say that's like their
Beyond the
favorite. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. I just like
That's a great movie.
oh,
Like, as
that was cute, but I mean that was your
but that's
favorite.
what I'm saying. Like, I
you
imagine
compared that
it
to
being
Love Jones. I'm right.
Love Jones is not that good. But anyway,
Beyond the Lights was. I mean, but Beyond the Lights was cute.
It's good. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
that's what. So what I was trying to get at is how that love story was kind of like, you seen them, like their relationship and the intricacy and all of that. I think that's more so with it. If Marriage Story was about a divorce and breakup, I don't think that is what this.
I mean, there's only so much they can do if they did all, because like you mean Henry, it seems like
that was more so my
Right.
point, because again, but
they only had so many people in there at one time. So it's like
right.
how much
So
can they really do?
that's what I'm saying. And if you think about Beyond the Lights, a lot of that movie was filmed in one location to where we were focusing on their relationship.
I need to rewatch that. We should do a rewatch pod, Henry. You and I on the movie. No? Okay, I was being serious.
Okay. They had like a concert tour. She was on the road touring.
I said a lot of that movie was in Mexico. Like at least 40 minutes out of that movie was them in Mexico.
Oh, in that little house at the end.
Yeah, that was cute.
I guess we'll see.
So
I'm just glad Zendaya hit that man up to make the movie, so that's a major move for her. Two. I mean, I don't know about John Washington.
He's a good actor.
He's decent.
Good actor.
He was
in Black Klansman. He's been on some HBO stuff. He's like a real it's not like they just pull bro off the street. Like
yeah.
I mean, I only know him because he did Washington's son.
No,
he's like it. It's not like he's in it because he's Denzel Washington's son. Like he can act.
Yeah.
That's literally what I thought it was.
I think he went to the house, low key.
I think he did. Yeah, he played football there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He played football there. No, he can act. He's a good actor.
I mean, I hope he. I mean, I'm curious because she finally got a black love interest. So
we love to see it. It's 2020.
I'm just curious how they're gonna release it. Like if it's not on Netflix.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, ain't nobody going to the theater, so.
Well, no, Tracy Ellis Ross released her movie on like Demand or something like that. Like they released.
Say more. You're breaking news now. I didn't know about that.
I didn't hear about that.
Sure didn't.
Oh, so High Note with Tracy Ellis Ross and Ice Cube. It came out maybe 2 weeks ago, and they released it. Like,
did you see it?
I wasn't trying to pay $15 for it, but I'm gonna eventually tell myself.
$15.
I mean, they have to make money off of it unless they sell
15,
it.
That's absorbent price.
That's the movie ticket.
It's a movie. Like what?
Yes, I'm in the theater. I got surround sound. I'm in a comfy seat.
I mean, I'm in my bed. You know, y'all know what I'm chilling.
I'm gonna need Netflix or Hulu to buy the rights. Yeah.
I mean, Amazon Prime Video do the same thing for like premium movies. Like when Bad Boys 2. Again, some people do.
And I don't buy them. Oh, so what is it?
Okay, let's not think about your perspective. They think about trying to get that money. People gonna buy it if it's a big name. But
buy it and then send it to us.
Our favorite person to talk about who needs to somehow get on this podcast.
Say that again. So Colin Kaepernick and Disney, also Netflix. So the former quarterback will now be the focus of an ESPN docuseries that will chronicle his journey over the past 5 years, he said, involving the partnership with Disney. I am excited to announce this historic partnership with Disney across all of its platforms to elevate Black and Brown directors, creators, storytellers, producers, and to inspire the youth with compelling and authentic perspectives. This comes literally days after Netflix announced their own documentary on Kaepernick, which will be produced by Ava DuVernay. So Kaepernick's still out here collecting checks, doing the appearances.
Can we talk about a side story?
You said what?
Can we talk about him in general, especially with the performative politics of the NFL?
I hope it focuses on that. I mean, I think the NDA that he signed might complicate that, but I hope he goes there. I don't think.
No, I guess I'm more so saying this. I'm glad he's still getting his check, and he gonna end up making a bigger check because he done did something with Nike at this point. He done did something with Disney, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't a one-time thing. It's gonna be like continuous project. So
he gonna make more now than he did in the league. Yeah,
right. That part. Do your thing, Chief. But I guess I'm more so like the NFL chose to have the Black national anthem played before every. What was your purpose? Then you want to put out this statement. What was your purpose? Then you want to fake like your little thing with Jay-Z was going to do. What was your purpose? My thing is like, bro, Jay-Z. I'm so tired of these motherfucking white people and all these big corporations playing like they.
I'm not. What? I mean, they're doing exactly what I would expect them to do. Who I'm sick of is people like Jay-Z who like you swear up and down that you for the people and you doing all that.
Shout out to Rock Nation Brunch Twitter.
No, am I surprised if the NFL is being performative and trying to act like they not know?
Okay, but why? If they're gonna do all that, they can at least extend this man an offer.
No.
Nah.
That would be the biggest performance of it all. That would be the
I would appreciate that performance. If you're gonna play into the bullshit, you might as well give our man a guy that at least make it look good.
The funny thing is, I don't even think Kaepernick would want that.
He's not gonna take it. He better than that.
I think them not extending an offer and doing all of this is proving the point that they are exactly who we think that they are. They are racist, and we've been to that.
Hey, well, since we on, this ain't no hit. Well, this might be his Amy Cooper, the Caitlyn bill that's getting passed. Can we talk about this black fool that don't want to press charges or participate in the investigation?
I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest, but
I know McKenzie do, because that's black men protecting them little motherfuckers again, and I got a big problem with that.
I mean, you want to take it, Henry, because you know how I feel. I mean, we just links. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. It's okay. You're not joking.
But it's just like, not even that, but are you kidding? Even if you feel that way, keep that to yourself.
Keep it to yourself and don't do it for you. Do it for the people but next to you, beside you, that's coming behind you, that's going to have to deal with that same situation, bro.
Right. Do it for the next person.
If this by chance get to your ear, somebody ear to hit, like, I don't know how many people listen to this for real.
Is there a study on like the black consciousness and like black people feeling like still the need to feel guilty?
White guilt or whatever it's called.
Like, I don't even know what it'd be called.
Get that shit out of they weren't guilting you when they was beating your damn ancestors, and she wasn't guilting your ass when she was calling the police. What the hell you feeling guilty for?
And then now my thing is, if you feel this way, sir, why did you record it? Why did you do all of that? If you really
and then when I see the picture of him, I said something that I ain't gonna repeat, but I know it's true. I know it's true. I know it's true.
Whatever.
Sips my tea.
Sips tea. And on that note, this has been episode number 54. Shout out to McKenzie and Henry as always. Again, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at WRGO Pod. Be sure to watch this video and the other short videos that we're going to try to come out with on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe on there. Be sure to also like, comment, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Podcasts. It does actually help us. So since Henry thought Anita Baker testified in front of the Senate in 1991, I am going to play her on the way out. So this has been episode 51, Co, and Holler at Us. Thanks, guys.